Shalom. First of all, let's start off by giving all great honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to teachers, elders, and the apostle of great millstone, likewise, brothers putting out this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and two brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson's title, Adar he that shall altogether go unpunished. Now, we're talking about Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, okay, and the judgment that the Lord Yahweh Yahushai is going to place on him. And when I say him, I'm talking about the children of Edom, okay, the Edomites, the so-called white people, or the so-called white race, okay, for all of the wickedness that they have committed while they were given the rulership of this earth. And you have a lot of jakes, that have this soft heart, easy to forgive and forget what has been done to the children of Israel, so-called Blacks, Native Americans, and Latinos, as well as these other tribes on this earth, that some way, somehow, they would make it, in their head that Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man, as long as he's not tearing up their land, and placing embargo on their economy, that he's good to go. But let's see what the scriptures have to say about that. Let's go into our first book here. This is the book of Revelation 13 and 10. It reads, "He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the fate of the saints." So we have an understanding, okay, that Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, spearheaded the captivity of the children of Israel, okay? He was the one that led it. He's the one that committed the most bloodshed, okay? And his history books, okay, indicates that, for example, they used to send postcards around, concerning alligator bait, okay, which was using young jakes, okay, babies, infants, to attract alligators. And in many cases, these jakes, these infant jakes were eaten, okay. But this was something that they did, and they showed no type of remorse, okay, for doing that. In fact, they were very happy, okay, of having the ability, okay, to do what they please with the children of Israel. When we go into the book of Jeremiah, okay, 50, and starting with verse 31, because keep in mind here, pursuant to the book of Malachi 1 and 4, these Edomites, boasted that they would return and rebuild, okay. They would come out of the caves, they had a very proud, robust spirit, okay, to rebuild. And they rebuilt. The Lord Yahweh allowed them to rebuild, okay, on the backs of the children of Israel, so-called Blacks and Americans and Latinos, okay. And when you go into Jeremiah 50, starting with verse 31, it reads, "Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, said the Lord, power of hosts. For thy day is come, and the time that I will visit thee." So the visitation has started already, starting with these low-level Edomites, okay, who are catching hell. "And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him." So this is telling you that the Lord Yahweh is going to make good on his words, okay, pursuing the Revelation 13 and 10, where he says, okay, "He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword." So he's going to put these Edomites in a situation where, okay, they're going to clash, okay, with other tribes and also within themselves, okay, and they shall perish, okay, with the sword, okay. Continuing, it says, "Thus said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shai, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were pressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." Now, some people will say, well, slavery has already ended. So I ask you the question. I'm going to show you this picture here. Take a look at this. This is the current map, okay? And it's going to get bigger, okay, of these detention facilities by HSI and ICE, okay? So if the whole intention is to deport illegal immigrants, why are they building thousands of these detention centers all across Great Babylon, America, that can hold as much as 10,000 jakes inside of it, or 10,000 beds as they claim, okay? And we can go into, how these facilities are going to be run and operated. They're not meant for the comfort, okay, of detainees, okay? This is another, okay, modern day slavery, okay, and it's not out there right now because they're distracting, okay, the people out there with this Epstein, case and everything else that's going on. But, we as watchmen, we dig deep in and we have brought it out in many lessons that currently right now, Jakes who are detained in these facilities are catching health. They're dying from disease. Okay, these places are infested with roaches and mice. Okay, there's all kinds of pestilence that's going on and taking place inside these facilities. Okay, so why aren't they letting them go? It's because right now, okay, they have a different agenda. They refuse to let the children of Israel, okay, the northern and southern kingdom, go. It says their Redeemer is strong. The Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shemashai is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of Babylon. Let's take a look at the word disquiet in the ordinary dictionary. And it means a feeling of anxiety or worry. So the Lord, Yahweh Shemashai, okay, part of the judgment, okay, leading up to the complete and utter destruction of Great Babylon, America, is going to have them in a state of anxiety or worry. Okay, and we're going to see why they're going to be so worried and anxious, okay, because when you take a look at how or what's taking place right now, you have the prophets exposing this man and all his lies, okay. You have the prophets calling them out, okay, through the scriptures, okay, and basically Esau has been made naked. He's been made bare, okay. All of their dark secrets are coming out, and it's pointing to one thing, that they are the wicked of the earth. Okay, let's go into Numbers 24, verse 19. It reads, out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. And when he looked on Amalek, he looked up his parable, and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but its latter end shall be that he perish forever. Now, this is speaking about these Amalekites, okay, these phony, fake Jewish people out there in the state of Israel. And now you can see here, okay, and this was big last year, Netanyahu, is going out there with this anti-Semitism propaganda, okay, where they're looking to persecute nations, okay, in particular, they're looking to persecute a set of people who speak against them. And who speak against them, okay, really, we do. We speak against them. We identify the true biblical Hebrew Israelite, us as so-called Blacks and Americans and Latinos, whose seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, and we know, okay, that those are Edomites over there in the state of Israel right now, okay, trying to imitate the children of Israel, and they're doing a very poor job of it. Okay, so this is already created, okay, this ministry and going out and prophesying against them is already creating that disquiet, okay, that fear, that anxiety, because they know what's coming, okay, once the prophet, okay, arrive on the scene, okay. It means what? Okay, let's go into Revelation chapter 11 and verse 8. It reads, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified, which we know spiritual Sodom and Egypt is Great Babylon, America. Okay, this place is Sodomite, okay, it's ran by Sodomites, okay, as we see that right now, what's coming over the Epstein files, okay. And this is synonymous with Egypt, okay? Same way where, Pharaoh would not let the children of Israel go until the Lord Yahweh Shemashai completely and utterly destroy them. Okay, you see it happening right here, okay? Continue, it says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their bodies to be put in graves, which we didn't know who we were, okay? But here it is right now. We're awakening, okay, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gift to one another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from power entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And why is that fear is there? Because we now know who we are. We now know who we are. See, this has been prophesied that we will wake up. We will begin to understand, okay, our history. We will know who we are, and we will know who our enemies are. We no longer look at the so-called white man as a preeminent man on this earth. We no longer look at him, okay, as God or as Jesus, okay, or as the prophets of the Bible, or all of the art, that they put out there that we, once when we were in darkness was looking and going, oh, they're the good people. Okay, we now know who they are. We have our identity back, and we actually have the identity of our enemy, our oppressor, Esau the Edomite, the so-called white man. Okay, and this is fair on them because we speak boldly, okay, even at the cost of our life. So we understand what is at stake here, okay? And this is what Yahushua has set us up to do, plain and simple, okay? Let's go into the book of Jeremiah 49, and starting with verse 12, because everything that's been given to Esau is going to be taken away. And it's going to be just like how Esau comes out with his wickedness in gradualism. The Lord Yahweh Shemashai is doing it in gradualism, starting with his poor. Everything that they try to do, it doesn't work. We call them out before they could do it, so they keep changing. What you think? You think people viewing our videos are jakes? Jakes don't give a crap, with the exception of the elect. Most of the views that's coming from, especially the elder brothers and the apostles, is coming from these Edomites. Okay, they have a team of people, okay, that on YouTube that sits down and watch our videos and stuff, and they take down the ones that, you know, we need to take this one down, or get rid of this one, or whatever the case like that. Oh, they're going to keep some of them so that they can use it in their court system when they start dragging us into the court. We already know this is going to happen. Okay, it says, for thus said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, behold, they, us, whose judgment was not to drink of the cup, have surely drunken. So we went into slavery. We got judged. We got taken to our high places. Okay? The Jake man, especially the so-called Negro, have to walk around every day with the whole world hating him. He has no opportunity. Okay, he is viewed as disgusting, a piece of crap. Okay, undesirable. Okay, and don't fit to this current system right now. Okay, and it says, thou he that shall altogether go unpunished. Speaking about Esau, thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. So you're going to go through. We're going to go through. You're going to go through the shame. Okay, brought down low. Okay, go into slavery. Oh yes, you're going to go through that. Being despised, detested. You're going to go through that, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more worse than what we went through. It says, for I've sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, that Bozrah shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes, because he's going to cause you to go into civil war, okay, and then you're going to be invaded, and then also you're going to go into a global war, okay, because nothing that the so-called white man does is for the benefit of the human race, so to speak, okay. So people all across this earth are waking up who the wicked is, okay. It says, I've heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, an ambassador sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her, and rise up to the battle. See, for lo, I will make thee small among the heathens and despised amongst men. So this is what you see happening right now. Okay, being American isn't great anymore. Okay, even being a white man isn't so great anymore. Okay, people are looking, going, and they're scratching their head and going, maybe we made a mistake following this man. And yes, they did. But they also have to fulfill prophecy, because all these other tribes are going to go into slavery too. But today we're really focusing on our oppressor, Esau the Edomite. Okay, it says, thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart. O thou that dwellest in the cleft of a rock, this caveman, he's a caveman, that holdest the height of the hill. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai. Also Edom should be a desolation, everyone that goeth by it should be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. As in the overthrow of Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, said the Lord Yahweh Shemashai, no man shall abide there, neither shall a son of man dwell in it. So this place is going to go through a very torturous process before the Lord Yahweh Shemashai finally destroys this place, okay, and turn it into that lake of fire. So you're seeing right now, the people are sighing, they're crying, they're unhappy. The jollity of the place is gone, and these Edomites, okay, they're coming to turn, okay, something is wrong. But we're talking to the elites, we're not talking to you everyday Edomites, okay, you're nothing. Okay, where you have gods in the flesh, in this fleshly body, that are speaking to the kings of this earth. Okay, you're going to go into slavery. In fact, it is going to be that horrible that you have a parable that the Mashiach himself spoke about, how horrible, okay, that cup, okay, of indignation is going to be, that judgment is going to be. This is the book of Luke 16, verse 19. It reads, there was a certain rich man, speaking about Esau, which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. So purple is always symbolic of wealth. Okay, and you can see this man, he's got it all going for himself. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores, and that's speaking of the children of Israel, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So here it is, we've been over here 400 years or plus, built this man's empire and have nothing to show for it. Every time we try to get up, he burns it down. Okay, whatever the case is like that. We already know that this is not our place of rest, but us walking in this flesh, you would think if you work your ass hard enough that you'd achieve things, and this man made sure he would sabotage everything. The jakes that you see look like they got something going like that. At what price did it come at? They have to be devil worshippers, perform witchcraft, do sodomite things, cannibalism and all of that stuff. Look how many jakes are attached to this Epstein thing. All our popular, rich, wealthy jakes, okay, famous, are attached to this Epstein shenanigan that's going on right now. Okay, so what price did it come with? All right. Continuing, it says, and it came to pass the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, seeing Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So the things that Esau is going to have to do, the work and the slavery is going to be intense. In fact, when you're looking at this AI video that I created, you can see here I try to visualize exactly how this is going to be, and this is just a small take. It'll take hours, of footage, to really emphasize it, and we don't know exactly how bad this is going to be, because the Lord Yahweh Shemashah is really going to give this judgment to Esau. But you can see here, okay, it's going to be that bad to the point where, here's the next line. It says, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. It's not a literal fire, but we are going to treat Esau horribly, okay? So that cup that's going to be passed to him, okay, is going to be significantly greater than what we receive from the Lord Yahweh Shemashah. And it says, but Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he's confident thou art tormented. So Esau's hell is going to be our heaven. So yes, Esau, you will not altogether go unpunished. You are going to go into slavery. And I just wanted to remind all you crackers that Lord willing, the elect was edified. Let it close by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Rakakadash, Shalom.